Today's topic is rotational motion of a rigid body. Okay. Let us visualize how rotation really works. Let me just make x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Something like this. अच्छा, जहाँ पे समझ में ना आए पूछ लेना. This is y, x and z. Let us say a body initial position is P and it is rotated on a circular path. Let's say since it is rotating, it reaches at P dash, okay, and the angle, or angle means angle theta, which we call it angular displacement also, okay, so we call it theta. Now this rotational motion is about z-axis. Remember, rotational motion about z-axis, okay. In the first thing, we are assuming that let this body, it is rotating and its omega is increasing, okay, with respect to time, okay. So what do we say? We will have angular acceleration of the body, angular acceleration of the body. एंगुलर एक्सेलरेशन जब कोई बॉडी रोटेट करती है तो उसको क्या कहेंगे? अल्फा. अल्फा इज इक्वल टू डी ओमेगा बाई डी टी, रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ इट्स एंगुलर velocity. Is that clear? Now if, which means what? D omega will be known as alpha times dt, correct? Or we can say, if at t equal to 0, omega becomes omega naught, okay, and at t equal to t, omega becomes omega. All right. So what will be, how will we write this d omega? Let us simply, what we'll do, let us do d omega integration would be alpha dt integration. और कहाँ से कहाँ तक इंटीग्रेट करेंगे हम? ओमेगा नॉट से ओमेगा तक, and time would be 0 to t because it began with t is equal to 0, and at t equal to t we want to evaluate. So what is the outcome? It will be omega, limit omega naught to omega would be alpha t and limit would be 0 to t. Omega minus omega naught would be alpha t minus 0, which means omega will be omega naught plus alpha t. This is your first formula of rotation. It is similar to what you have already studied, v is equal to u plus at. Do you know? Analogy draw कर रहा हूँ, okay. So rotation में भी exactly similar type of rotational equation निकलेंगे. Okay, this is your first equation. For second equation, we already know the fact that omega equal to d theta upon dt. So this is theta. Alright. So we can easily say that d theta would be omega dt. Yes or no? And let us write down this value of omega from here. So we say d theta would be omega naught plus alpha t dt. Yes, agreed. And if we integrate d theta, कहाँ से कहाँ तक? Let's say initially theta was 0 and finally it was theta. We already know, just now we discussed. So and this will be 0 to t omega naught plus alpha t dt. So what shall we actually get? Theta limit 0 to theta would be omega naught t, limit would be 0 to t, and then you will get plus alpha t square upon 2 and limit would be 0 to t. t dt means इसका इंटीग्रेशन t स्क्वायर बाई t होता है, आपको ऑलरेडी मैंने बताया था अर्लियर. ओके, तो अभी क्या निकलेगा हमारा? थीटा माइनस 0 वुड बी ओमेगा नॉट टी प्लस हाफ अल्फा टी स्क्वायर, और थीटा वुड बी ओमेगा नॉट टी प्लस हाफ अल्फा टी स्क्वायर. So did you notice? This is very similar to what we had already seen as S is equal to ut plus half at square. Do you notice? लीनियर इक्वेशन में ये था और रोटेशनल इक्वेशन में थीटा इक्वल टू ओमेगा नॉट टी प्लस हाफ अल्फा टी स्क्वायर बन गया. सिमिलरली we shall do for third equation, or rather derive the third equation. Here we knew that alpha was d omega by dt. Okay, if I actually multiply the whole thing by d omega by d theta, I can write also d theta by dt. क्या किया हमने? d theta से ऊपर नीचे मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया. So I can write alpha as d theta by dt will be omega. So omega d omega upon d theta. Okay. Or we can say that omega d omega d omega equal to alpha d theta. Now let us limit and integrate it. So we can say, let us say initially my initial velocity was omega naught, okay, and the final velocity was omega, right, and theta was 0 to theta, 0 to theta. So what shall we get? Omega square upon 2, and we begin with omega naught and end up with omega, which is alpha theta. Step समझ में आ रहे हैं नहीं आ रहे? So we will have omega square minus omega naught square upon 2 as alpha theta, or omega square minus omega naught square is 2 alpha theta, or omega square is omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. And you can draw the analogy with respect to what? V square is u square plus 2as. This was your motion in linear motion. So these are the three equations which I now summarize. Equation 1 was omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t. Equation 2, theta is omega naught t plus half alpha t square. And then third, omega square is omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. Is that understood? एक कुछ एक प्रैक्टिकल क्वेश्चन करके देखते हैं, so that you understand the whole concept. Question: let us say the angular speed of motor wheel is increased. यहाँ ध्यान नहीं दोगे कुछ समझ में नहीं आने वाला. is increased from 1200 rpm, rpm कहते हैं रोटेशन पर मिनट, to 3120 rpm in 16 seconds. Okay, number 1, what is its angular acceleration? Assuming the acceleration to be uniform. Assuming the acceleration to be uniform. Okay, number 2, how many revolutions does the wheel make during this time? Okay, these are the 2 questions. So how do we solve? So let us say we are now solving the problem. So angular speed of a motor is increased from 1200 rpm. That means initial angular speed means omega naught is given to us 1200 rpm, and final speed is omega, which is 3120 rpm, and time duration कितना है? T is 16 seconds. Okay, now omega naught, since it is given in rpm, you have to convert it into radian per second. So omega naught is 1200. rotation है, तो rotation means each rotation is 2 pi radian, and per minute means 60 seconds. Okay, so 60, so you will get 20, so 40 pi radian per second. समझ में आ रहा है? तो आपने इसको क्लियर कर दिया. Similarly, find out for omega. Omega is 3120 into 2 pi upon 60. So cut down the 0, 6 5 ja and 6 2 ja. So you have 104, right? Pi radian per second. Got it? So what you need is alpha. Alpha is omega minus omega naught upon t. Yes or no? From first equation. So you will get 104 pi minus 40 pi upon 16. So how much you got? Can you tell me? So 64 pi upon 16, right? So लिख लो यहाँ पे 4 pi radian per second square. Remember, the unit of alpha is 4 pi radian per second square. So this is the answer for number 1. Now number 2. So you are asked how many revolutions does this make during this time? So here which formula you would use? Second के लिए you will use theta as omega naught t plus half alpha t square. Okay. So omega naught t is 40 pi multiplied by t की value 16 plus half, and just now you have your alpha value of alpha. Alpha की value ले लो 4 pi and t was 16 times 16. T square हो गया नहीं हो गया? So you will have 640 pi plus क्या करेंगे 2 2 जा है ना. So 16 को 16 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 256 हो जाएगा एंड उसका डबल कर दो. So how much you will get? 512 pi. Yes, that much radian. Do you know? 1152 pi radian. You will get the answer. Okay. Tell me, how much is the concept known to you after utilizing the application and also deriving the formulas to understand the basic concept? Yes, Daksh, have you understood? What about you? Yes, sir. Jurian, you understood? Miss Gayatri Jaiswal, have you understood? Okay.